Let's start.
Hello. Welcome to our evening. In the name of PMI Switzerland, I want you... Are we online? Or do we just try? I can see nothing. Sorry.
Good to go, Stefan. Good to go.
That's the training part. Now we have waited for 10 people more and now we can start. In the name of PMI Switzerland, I welcome you to this historical event. You are all part of this first of many online events from PMI Switzerland. And yes, okay, I know it sounds a little bit extreme, but honestly, the facts I told you, they are true. And my enthusiasm is really real. So I'm very excited for this evening today. And before I continue, just a hint, you are muted by default. And if you have questions later, and if we ask you something, please use the Q&A button. And for your information, we are going to record this session. And now I want to take the chance to introduce you for 1 minute to the PMI Switzerland chapter. Our chapter was founded in 2001, and we are currently around 1,700 members. Thanks to our about 120 volunteers, we offer our community a variety of events. We have over the year evening in-person events, or should I say we have had last year, because this year the rules are different. But anyway, we offer some master classes, and our master classes are usually full day trainings with professional trainers where the attendees can improve their knowledge and sometimes get some certs. And we have a yearly big event in Switzerland. We call it PM Conference. But also the networking part is very well covered with us. We have events like lunches, dinners, or drinks where we can meet with other people and change information or discuss a current topic. And we offer most of our events open to all interested project management professionals. We also have a very active social goods team. We give understanding of project management knowledge to young students. And another very successful service that we offer in Switzerland is the mentoring program. We have experienced professionals that train or coaches less experienced project management professionals. And altogether we have an experience of over 400 years of experience. That's all. The rest you can read on this very short slide where we try to sum up what was last year. So if there is something you are interested or that's something that you are missing, we are very happy if you contact us. But we would not be here without the support of our sponsors. For this, I want to say thank you to all these companies who are supporting us. And I am Stefan Faisenmaier, the VP of Events from PMI Switzerland. And I'm so happy that I can welcome you for this great event tonight. And I want to say a big, big thank you to Stefania and her team. We organized this event within 4 weeks. And as I said, it's the first online event that we organized and that we offer to our community. And so it's a very, very interesting and great thing for us. Thank you, Stefania. Thank you to your team. And I wish you a successful evening. I wish all our guests, our attendees, fun and good learnings. Good night, goodbye, and I hope to see you soon again. Bye. Thanks, Stefania.
Thank you, Stefan. Thank you for the introduction. So I will just take a minute to say thank you to the team who was behind all of this. As Stefan said, 4 weeks is not a lot of time to organize the first online event. And I'm happy we could make this happen. I'm also excited to have such great speakers with us. You will hear from them for the next 1 hour and a half. And actually, because this is the first online event and there are so many people connected, I wanted just to do a short exercise with you and actually do a test to see from where you are connecting. So if you check in Zoom, you should see a poll. So please vote. Where are you connecting from? Wow. So Switzerland, it seems, is winning. So the marketing, the local marketing works better. So we have 85 who already voted. I think we are pretty much approaching to an end. So who didn't manage to vote, sorry for that. I'm going to stop the polling now and show the results. So I think you should all see in Zoom now the connection rate. Thank you for joining. And actually, you joined tonight for a specific topic. You joined because you are interested in resilience. So we wanted to know what is your main stress factor which made you connect tonight. So you will see now a code displayed on this page. So please use the Mentimeter application if you downloaded it before, following the instruction from the email, or otherwise go to www.menti.com and load this code. And then you will be able online to actually share your stress factor. So we'll give it some minutes because we are 100 attendees. It's going to take a while until we form a view here.
Yeah,
our speakers are very interested to actually see what is making you join.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And talking about our fantastic speakers, dear speakers, it's Fabiola, Stefania, Kathy, and Mihai. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's amazing, great having you here. And I would love you to introduce yourselves. Each of you really brings a rich background. And yeah, please share a few words on yourself, introduce yourselves to the participants. And Kathy, may I ask you to start?
Good evening, everybody. I realized at age 11 that as a perfectionist, I was extremely good at creating stress for myself. And that was when I started building my resilience. So I bring a lifetime of working on resilience skills. I was decades before I heard the word. And I've spent 30 years as a professional trainer and coach, helping other people to become their best selves and lead happy and fulfilling lives. That's my passion. And I seized this possibility when I was asked to participate because I absolutely love working with groups. I have to manage my frustration that I can't see you, but I feel the energy of all the people who are here, and I'm delighted that you've joined.
Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, right now we can't see the participants. We will get the chance to hear the voices. I mean, we already start seeing their voices in the Mentimeter, but we definitely will also hear more of their voices during the session already when they come in via chat with questions, but then the Q&A definitely will be a place for them to raise their voice too. Valentina, would you please go next, introducing yourself?
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Valentina. I come from Italy. I moved to Switzerland 7 years ago, actually. Been spending 12 years in the pharma industry. And since 2 years, I started this journey as a coactive coach, which I really love. And I mainly do because I want to support people really to feel fulfillment and joy in their work and in their life. And when it comes about resilience, actually, you know, moving country and many things happening in my family, including, you know, death and other sad things. And also this, a lot of shit happened in my career. And it's the overall time in which I build up resilience as well, right? I had to be very much resilient to go ahead in many circumstances in my life. So when I actually got the offer from the team to join this evening, I was really happy because this is a way to give back somehow, and it's a way of sharing, and it's also a way for me to learn from each other, from the splendid people that are going to share with you tonight about resilience. Yeah, happy to be here.
Thank you. Yeah, learning from each other. We definitely, tonight I think there's a lot to learn from each other, a lot of opportunities that we will get. And Fabiola, how about you?
Yeah, good evening, everybody. I see here we are over 100 people. Right now I'm letting that sink in. We are here together, almost 130 people. I also love the fact that I can already see what's on your mind in the Mentimeter. This is a great idea. Like we already have your voices here and what it's worrying you. I have been working as a facilitator and a coach, especially in circling. Circling is a meditative connection, mindful practice. And this is something I've been doing for the last 5 years. I would say that for the last 10 years, I am a mindfulness geek. My passion is to guide or facilitate processes in people to connect first and foremost with yourself and then with the others. It's all about connection, especially right now, especially in moments like this. My being here, it's exactly that, to share everything and most surely to co-create with fellow panelists and with everybody that is here. How can we pull these off together?
Thank you, Fabiola. And Mihai, what brings you here?
Yeah, so I am Mihai Zânt, and I'm a former executive in the corporate world that since a while ago is running his company in training and coaching. I've done an MBA in business, so my approach being an engineer, the base is very a structured approach on the soft skills. And we are doing training, leadership training and communication for corporates from a future skills perspective. And from that, we are looking at self-leadership, and within the self-leadership concept that we believe in, it's resilience, managing resilience and stress. And that's why I strongly believe in that. I'm a yoga teacher also, and I combine the structured way I'm doing project management with some Eastern knowledge and with what we know from neuroscience and psychology for resilience. So I'm glad to be here along with you.
Okay. So, wow. That already shows like we have rich experience on the table here. And Stefania, I think it would be beautiful if we could now see the Mentimeter to tap into our participants' voices.
Or let me.
We have like 122 participants with us right now. And here comes the Mentimeter. And I invite you, Kathy, Valentina, Fabiola, and Mihai. This is for you to, to just take and create from co-creation.
I'd like to start probably with each one of us, the panelists, explaining what is resilience for each one of us. Is that the step that comes right now or later?
That's perfect, really perfect.
Right.
What it is to you, and I feel it's also interesting as you are, you are experts. So coming from eating your own dog food, what works really well for yourself, right?
Yeah. So I'll start. So resilience is the capacity to bounce back from pressure. It's the capacity to be comfortable with what is uncomfortable, and it's a practice. It's something. It's more a verb than anything else. To find a certain solid center in the middle of all of this, more specifically to the times we're living right now, is the capacity to manage everything I'm seeing right now that you are expressing: uncertainty, frustration, fears, expectations, even the guilt that some people feel that some people are enjoying these times. Actually, that's happening, and feel guilty about enjoying in the middle of so much pain and suffering that they see around them. That's what I feel resilience is.
Yeah, maybe I can build up on that as well. Actually, I like to use this example of the tree, right? When a storm comes or when there is a strong wind, the branches of the tree tend to lean back, right? And eventually they shift again in the original position afterward. So what does it mean that? That's exactly what resilience is, as Fabiola was saying, is that capacity of bouncing back. So now as a human being, when a crisis happens, like what is happening right now, for example, or when some events in our work or in our life happen, this causes us instability, insecurity, and triggers some emotion. Can cause stress, maybe anxiety, maybe fear. Ultimately, it's fear. And that's totally normal, right? Because security and stability are like our basic needs. And when these are kind of shaken, then it's normal to feel fear. And there are two ways we can handle that. Usually the mind, and I will call it in this way, like the monkey mind, is going to grab the driving seat in this moment, right? And especially when you start thinking about the future and about, about something that you don't know. So your monkey mind will start generating a lot of negative thoughts. And this will generate and trigger more fear and more stress. Now, this second fear and stress is actually something that you can control, you can prevent. How do you do that? It's actually starting with the awareness. So with the awareness of something is happening right now, I feel fear, I feel uncertainty, and I see here in this, in the word art that is being created, there is a lot of uncertainty too and frustration. So it's just about getting aware about that feeling, getting aware about that emotion, let it be. And then also trying to find in these, okay, what can I control in this? What can I actually maybe learn from this situation? What could be an opportunity? And this shift your mind actually back to a more positive mindset and a coping mindset. And it's exactly what resilience is for me, yeah.
I'd like to build on two things that you said. One thing that you said, Fabiola, is that it's skills and practices, that it's what you do and what you focus on. And that gives you that sense of control that you were referring to, Valentina. And it's not something that you're born with. And what popped into my head in our current situation is that resilience is your psychological PPE, your psychological personal protective equipment. And it's it's learnable skills and practices that build your resilience to stress and enable you to respond and act creatively rather than reactively, which is what we do when we're stressed. And one of the things that it's important to take ownership of is where you focus your attention. If you focus your attention on the news and you let in too much of that, you're letting in that sense of uncertainty that will feed your uncertainty. If you allow yourself and expose yourself to too much scary information. Somewhere I saw too much information. I'm not sure whether that individual was referring to that. But we really need to take ownership of taking care of ourselves. And sometimes people think that it's somehow egotistical to take care of yourself because some people will make you feel like you're being selfish. But in fact, if you think about what they say in the airplane, if the cabin pressure drops and the masks come down, you need to put your own mask on first in order to have the capacity of helping others. And especially those of you with children at home, it's important that you do not neglect your self-care.
I could build on that. Most of the psychologists define resilience as the power to bounce back from, pressure, trauma, or whatever events might happen to us. Now, I would like to stretch the concept to one that is more related to transformation. So I would say any event, even this that we're passing by, it's an event to transform. So we really have the opportunity to go on the other side, transform, and even better from our previous selves. And I look onto that as a transformation opportunity. Sometimes it's called, every trauma is a gift. I would say every period that, helps us learn on ourselves something and build a stronger self, it's also a gift. And that can be a resilience for me.
So what I am now really curious about and what I haven't heard so far is how do you practice? Yeah, I mean, you said it's a lot of practice. Resilience, how do you practice that? And I would also love to encourage the participants, if they have questions, if they are super curious now based on what they already heard from you, please post your questions in the chat, and we'll ensure to ask those questions also to our panelists. So Kathy, Valentina, Fabiola, and Mihai, how are you with resilience for yourself? What makes you resilient, and what you do to get an even, could you say, like stronger resilience, to build that?
Yeah, I can start if you want. As I was saying, I think the first thing for me very important is that if I feel stressed out for something, that I have to be with that and I have to understand what makes me stressed there. Or if there is a fear, what is the fear behind that? Then it's about understanding, okay, what can I control? And what in this situation can I control? Then what is very important and makes the difference for me is I decide what I want to focus on. And that moment, for me, it's that mindset shift, right? It's when I decided what I want to focus on. Because in any event, like Mihai was mentioning, there is a learning, there is an opportunity to grow, there is an opportunity to transform. So it's also about asking yourself, whatever is happening, and for me, this is what I do in my life, it's what can I learn out of it, right? Maybe, I don't know, at work, you can be, in a bad situation with your manager, or maybe there is a lot of workload, or maybe there is a job that you don't like. But what this is giving you in that moment, right? Especially focusing in the precise moment and not thinking too much about the future, but that causes stress and anxiety. But when you focus in the precise moment, you really can decide, okay, what can I take out of this situation? What's the good out of that? What's the learning for me? And then that give me the strength to build up on, to then move on and perhaps decide something better for me after that.
I can build up on that if you want, on Valentina saying, and I'm seeing some questions there, and I can relate those to the word cloud over there. Mm-hmm. So in our resilience training, we kind of put them on 3 axes. So it's me dealing with myself and the self-pressure that I put and my self-growth within that. Me and the others. So how do I negotiate my relationships? May them be work or family or personal, and how do I relate to that? And I've seen that workload, for example, is the first word there. And that's about how do you negotiate, how do you delegate, how do you upwards delegate and negotiate, how do you become overwhelmed by stress? And it's about that. And then me with the system. May it be the system of my team, which is a microculture, the system of the company, or even a country system, or uncertainty as it is a system now. And how can I deal with that, and what can I do relating to that? So it's me and myself, me and the others, and me with the system. And we take these 3 axes with the stressors, and we have diverse tools that we use for each one of them.
I have there's something crucial for me in this, and it's before jumping into strategies, before jumping into mechanisms, before the doing is about being. More than anything, we have forgotten how to be human beings, and it's about being with what is. There's something, believe it or not, there's something beautiful about being with the sadness and sitting with it. There's something beautiful and amazingly productive about being with the frustration. And before we jump in, how do I get rid of this sadness? How do I get rid of this frustration? These are tools already. The sadness is already a tool. And when if we learn to appreciate this, and it's a language, it's a connection that, hey, if there's sadness here, can I sit with it and practice some self-compassion? There are reasons why that is here, especially right now, especially in the moment we're living in. And before we jump, I think all of that is happening to me is the great pause. This is a pause. I know a lot of us are working a lot anyway, but a lot of the world has stopped. So it's about how many times are we stopping? It's a chance to stop and see what is here, right now. And many times it's not going to be comfortable. It's going to be messy. And it's like the way you sit with your crying child, the way you sit with a friend, is about being your best friend when you are in a challenging situation. You don't want somebody to say, oh, forget about it. You're okay. You're not sad. And then first of all, validate what you're feeling and sit with it before any strategy, before any mechanism to fix it. Yeah, go ahead, Kathy.
On that, if I can, that one of the most important skills of resilience is acceptance. And what you're talking about, Fabiola, is acceptance. Resilience is about your energy, your life energy. And if you're spending your life energy in fighting something that's out of your control, then you are going to get more frustrated, and feel worse and worse and lose your energy. And so that being with what is, with compassion, that's love and acceptance. And this is a moment for love and acceptance. We can't get rid of COVID-19. It's here. We're surrounded with the coronavirus crisis. And so the strategies are all around not fighting against what is, but accepting it. and looking where there are things that we can change. So if I choose how I take responsibility for how I nourish myself, and somebody asked, can we break it down to physical, emotional, psychological, spiritual? It's how you nourish yourself on all of those levels. And maybe just to add on, to give a personal example of what I'm practicing myself, every day I start my day by doing yoga. So I nourish my body with exercise and have a healthy breakfast, do a Spanish lesson to nourish my brain, and do a meditation, mindfulness meditation exercise to nourish my soul. And then I look at the other things that I need or want to do in that day.
So, Kathy, thank you to already responding to one of the questions from the participants. So what I heard from you is that you were talking about you choose your focus, first of all, right? The ability to attend to your feelings, to hold that space with whatever there is. And then, is it right to say you're looking for what is the learning that comes with it, or what is the opportunity? So my question, and that is also one of the participants, is like control. I can't, in many things, I feel I can't control. I don't have the control. So how do you deal with that?
You turn your attention to what you can control.
Yeah.
So when you're in a place of uncertainty, then creating rituals and routines, for example, is a way of bringing more certainty into your life. Doing that for yourself, for those with children, doing that together with your partner and your children is a way to immediately, and it truly immediately, you can create a greater sense of certainty and security. And I'm not talking about denying reality. I'm really talking about focusing on what is in your control and taking ownership of that.
And also maybe finding control in saying, oh, I notice I don't have as much control as I thought. There might be peace in that. Thanks God, not everything is under control. And
can I just answer that, because something that I wanted to say before is that I want to name this coronavirus crisis is confronting us very directly with our mortality.
Yeah.
And we tend to live in denial of our mortality. But in fact, embracing our mortality, embracing our humanness is what makes us alive. This is a tremendous opportunity to be grateful for being alive, and be all of us who are in Switzerland and other first world countries that have a place to shelter in. We can be very, very grateful that we're not out on the street somewhere or in a camp.
I would just build on that, and of course you should start from the question, what is in your control whenever anything is happening? What can you do? And then work on that space. And if I relate to the methodologies, because we're a PMI here, I would say for this period of uncertainty, agile mindset might be the best way to look at the things. So it's about, and when I say mindset, it's looking at this is, I have scenarios, I have hypotheses of what might happen. No leader can say now what will happen or have any sense of control of what might be. And then you have a scenario, you have a hypothesis, and you experiment, you iterate, you try something, you learn from it, and then you reiterate on that. So that's relating to what you know as methodologies, that will be the best way also in leadership, in my view, the best approach to have in this period.
I wanted to add two things, right? Because sometimes when you say, I have the feeling I can't control anything, maybe it's because we are overwhelmed, right? We feel that there is too much stuff going on, and it can be with what is going on outside, but it also maybe if you have a family and children and you have to work as well, and maybe you have other duties, you feel overwhelmed. So in that feeling of overwhelming, of course, you can't find control over anything. The first thing to do for me, it's really about stepping back and really seeing, okay, can I just choose 2 to 3 things that I can focus on? Only these, and start small. And then you start seeing, okay, these are the few things, and by doing, you can find back that control. But really start small and start choosing few things to control, few things that you can focus on. And the other thing I wanted to add, that Kelly, actually, you mentioned something so important, that is gratitude. So gratitude is also something that let us step back in this moment and let us see, what do you actually have? What are you grateful for? And then when you start listing the things that you're grateful for, which could be, your health right now, the health of your family, perhaps, the fact that you may still have a job. You're in Switzerland, we are still allowed to have a walk outside for the people that are in Switzerland. So when you do this exercise of being grateful, and I really would suggest people start doing it, even writing 2 or 3 things every day about what are you grateful for the day. It really brings you back into the moment, first of all, and let you see what you can, let you see the things in a different way, and also what you can control.
So, Valentina, thank you for sharing that. So I get from you that and this my question, is this a daily practice, something you practice daily? Like, what are my 3 things I am grateful for?
Yeah, that's absolutely something I do. Yeah, but also, even the fact of the feeling overwhelmed. I have 2 jobs and I do other things during my day, and sometimes I feel stressed. I also feel stressed, right? And so for me, it's really, when I arrive to that point, is maybe I disconnect, maybe I go for a walk, and then I just decide, okay, what are the 2 to 3 things that I want to do today, to just focus on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And being aware of our time, we now heard from you, Valentina, and also already from you, Kathy, what you're doing on a daily basis, like the small practices, the micro skills you're practicing day by day to build and expand your resilience, right? I would love to hear also from Mihai and from Fabiola before we move on. Yeah.
I take my frustration for a run, or I take my sadness for a nice, absolutely incredible ice cream. Not always recommended, I get that, but yeah, I do that sometimes. And micro pauses during the day. To me, that has been, micro pauses the micro pauses have become even more important in this great pause. It's whatever I have. It's breathing for 2 minutes, just for me, right here, right now. Like I'm feeling right now the excitement of all of us sharing what we're sharing, of being with all of the participants, and also looking forward for the questions. I notice all of that. It's taking myself into my life. I don't have to leave myself behind to be here with you and be cool or sound important. I can, all of me can be here with me. It's about also breath. Breath is just, to me, a lifesaver. If you can take a few minutes to just breathe and feel into your body several times a day. Even if you have, I have a friend, she says, I have kids, I cannot even, the only time alone I have is when I go to the toilet. But take that. take that minute, take those 2-3 minutes, take that to breathe while you're doing what you're doing. Take those minutes in the shower. Take them when you can and how you can.
I'll add on my practices. So I'm doing yoga almost every day in the morning, and meditation. So that's my morning routine. Then I do some kind of sport, and now as we are locked down, I'm doing badminton in my yard with anyone just to discharge. But there's a science behind that. So if we talk systemic changes, it's have a good night's sleep, 7 to 8 hours. That's hugely important and proved by many studies that that's very good. Sport, at least 30 minutes a day if you can, any kind of movement, actually. And then dieting, I'm doing intermittent fasting, but you can cut calories between 20 to 40%. Both have proven results in, you know, transforming neurogenesis in the hippocampus and have neuroscience relations to that. And then I would say I connect, even if it's on Zoom. I do sometimes Zoom drinks with my friends. You can see micro-expression, you can get connections out of that, and that's important. And I'm doing what Valentina was saying. I'm on a group on Facebook, and that's 1 to 2 minutes when I just write 3 things I'm grateful for in the day. And that's at night when I go to sleep. So these are several things I try to keep on just to keep me going in whatever is happening.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing those insights. What I'm hearing is really that you integrate it, because you kind of even merge it with something that you might be doing anyhow. It seems that it comes with, I would say, a very conscious mind.
Mm.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
when I hear like, okay, I take my frustration for a run, right? It's like I might have gone for a run anyhow, but now I take my frustration as a friend or not, LA or whatever it is, and let's go together like this. So it's kind of create really a conscious behavior around it, something like this.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much. An outlook how we will move on from now is, Kathy, you have a little gift, a present to share with all of us, right?
Yeah.
And we will be with you. And after that, I will have a question for the participants, and then we start in the Q&A. Yeah? Okay, Kathy, we are all yours.
The skill that I'd like to give you a taste of is the skill of visualization. And visualization is a way of consciously using our imagination to increase our well-being. We can also use it to increase our performance, improve our performance, and increase our resilience. And while the word suggests the sense of sight, in fact, visualization employs all of the senses. And what I'd like to do, rather than talking about it, is give you the opportunity to experience a short visualization exercise now. So start by making yourself comfortable in your chair. Nobody can see you. Put your hands on your thighs, put your feet flat on the floor, and make a conscious choice to engage in this exercise now. Turn your attention inward. And if you feel comfortable doing so, close your eyes. If you prefer not to close your eyes, just look down at your lap and allow your gaze to go unfocused. And imagine now that you're standing in the middle of a wonderful alpine meadow, a vast field of lush green grass, dotted with delicate flowers in all of the hues of blue, pink, yellow, and white. And this meadow is surrounded by trees, magnificent trees. It's a glorious sunny day in early summer. The temperature is perfect. You can feel the warmth of the sun on your skin. And when you breathe in, you can smell the freshness of the air. Maybe you can even smell the sun. And you smell also the fragrance of the grass and the flowers. You can hear the leaves of the trees rustling in the gentle breeze. And perhaps you can even feel the breeze in your hair. When you look up, you see that the sky is deep blue and absolutely clear. Take a deep breath of this clean air. And as you exhale, let go of any tensions or worries or thoughts. In the distance, you can hear the babbling of a brook as the water moves across the stones. If you feel like it, you can walk closer to it. You can also hear birds singing and insects buzzing. And perhaps if you look closely among the flowers, you may spot a dragonfly or a butterfly. Give yourself permission to delight in this beautiful place and to delight in your 5 senses to experience it. Notice how soft the grass is under your feet. If you feel like it, you may want to sit down or lie down. Breathe in deeply and let yourself be filled with the peacefulness of this place. Feel the energy of the earth flowing through you. Allow yourself to simply be and feel the delight of being alive. And knowing that this is a resource that you have within you, that you can access at any time, decide for now to leave this place and bring your attention back to the weight of your body being supported by the chair and by the floor. And gently begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, refreshed and relaxed, open your eyes and bring your attention fully back to our workshop.
Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much.
That's really nice, relaxing.
Refreshing. Refreshing, even refreshing. Thank you.
And that was under 5, that was 5 minutes. I timed it with a stopwatch.
Okay, so 5 minutes, and whatever is now available for you, it's a 5-minute investment. Huh? Like visualization, one other technique, right, that you can apply.
And in these micro pauses, you can use visualization. And all of these practices are like a muscle. I mean, these are developing, these habits are developing patterns in our brain and kind of our brain muscle, so that the more you do them, the faster they work and the better they work.
That's perfect now to really ask our participants how do you, dear participants, how do you train your resilience muscles? What do you do to build resilience? So, and the question here goes like, what coping strategies are you using that are helping you most? And this is again an invitation to use the Mentimeter, menti.com, and you see the code 29798. So feel free, Rita, and please share with us, what is it that you do? And can be small practices on a daily basis, could also be whenever you think of it and want to do something. We heard the self-care. What do you do to nurture yourself, to care for yourself? And I can already see some inputs coming in. At the same time now also, and Stefania, how do we do this? The chat definitely is open. So if you have questions, write into the chat.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So we have already some questions on the chat. We could take them one by one. That will be a possibility. I think we also had some questions in the, we also have some questions in the questions and answers. So I will leave it up to you, Julia, how you think it's more entertaining.
Let's do this together, Stefania. So you said we already have questions. Let's go with those.
All right.
Yeah.
So I can then read the first question.
Mm-hmm.
This is from Paul. Are there things we should generally avoid doing in order to ensure our resilience is healthy?
I would say spontaneously no screen time within 2 hours of going to bed.
Yes, and included into that is the exposure, especially to the news and this unbelievable amount of information. So that covers it with what Kathy is saying. If you have less screen time, then you have less access to all of that, which is incredibly aggressive to the system.
And building on that, avoid junk food.
I would also add another thing, which is beating yourself up. So like when you hear a lot of things like, oh, I should have exercised more, I should have eaten better, I should have done that, stop that should, and don't feel guilty about, just accept that in that moment, you can do that, it's fine, right? Just accept that.
Okay, that is already, okay, I think I will go with the next one. Here's like, okay, yoga, language lesson, meditation with 2 small kids smiling, right? So if you're in a situation with 2 small kids, any suggestions how you could build in small practices?
Well, there's so much you can do. Exercise together and practice, do your gratefulness practice together instead of falling into, when you fall into default routines, you might at the dinner table talk about what you're worried about or the problems you have. Instead, start a practice of everybody saying the best thing that happened today. Learn something together. All the things that we've talked about, you can actively do, especially during this time of staying at home with your kids. And in the spirit of not beating yourself up, and also some of the concerns that were raised about too many demands on yourself, I think it's important to put hugging each other and celebrating being together way ahead of fulfilling other people's expectations.
Yeah, I would agree on that. And I would say, maybe you don't like doing yoga, maybe you don't like doing meditation, maybe you don't have time. It doesn't mean you have to do that. Not because many people do that, you have to do the same. So it's really much, the other thing to avoid is to compare yourself. So whatever you can do that brings you in a space of harmony with your family, with your kids, just do that. That's the most important thing at the end, is that you feel that harmony inside.
And also recognize you have 2 kids and you're already doing yoga and meditation. You're a star already.
To be honest, I understood it like none. It was a bit like, you know, haha, with 2 small kids. But now we got really good.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, I think that was
All right.
would that be possible, right? But now I even get like, if the kids are that small, they couldn't even talk, right? Like small. I mean, even hugging them and making this kind of your gratefulness practice.
Yeah.
Even if they start crying, that moment when you hug them, I think there's something in there.
Absolutely. That's celebrating life and accepting what is, being in the moment. Not to mention oxytocin release for both of you.
So lots of hugging. Good. We have another one. How do you manage to punch back the things which are out of your control, here again, despite the fact that they are so aggressive? Here they come again. They come back, right?
I would start, pushing them back makes them stronger. So what Kati was saying earlier is key here is actually acceptance. So do accept whatever is happening within the realm of uncertainty, and then see what you can do within your control zone, whatever you think it's your control zone, because that's also a discussion, it's debatable and it's different for everybody. But resisting them makes them stronger.
Yeah, this is what you resist persists. Huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I find a really powerful tool that works with pushing back to other people, but also works in directing your attention, is to ask questions. And so asking yourself, for example, what is most important,
and
can be helpful.
And I would build on what Kati was saying also earlier. It's, perception is reality, and that's from NLP and from others. So whatever you focus on, it may be your reality. So you put your spotlight in another place, not on what you have to push back, on what you can do. And that's another perspective on to look at that. Change your focus zone.
Another tool that I find also playful is, it's in the end, not during, but it's imagining the worst scenario, like really going there instead of avoiding, oh, let's not think about all of that. And like Mihai was saying, like the more you push them back, the stronger they get. Like invite them in. Okay, let me invite this apocalypse picture in which I'm going to have to probably just grow my own food, and then maybe there's no other way to survive, and all of that. And then if you share that with a friend, you might end up both of you laughing in the very end. It's another way of, we are incredibly creative, exceptionally creative to recreate the worst that can happen. Mm-hmm. The worst that can happen. So go there and see and release that. Go there and release that scenario, because it can get. It usually does. It's never that as bad as we think.
Yeah, and it's a lot of monkey mind as well, right? So sometimes it's not what is real. Sometimes it's more, as you say, what you focus on, and so your reality changed. But also it's kind of, I don't know, I call it monkey mind, but it's like this negative thinking, that tendency of always being in that space. Rather, if you would say, can I have another perspective to see that? Would it be another way to see this? Right? And then you say, there are other ways.
I think, especially as project managers, there are exercises like the post-mortem, where you already go through worst case scenarios within our risk management. So I think there's a lot of experience also already there to just translate it a little bit to the project management talk, right? Another question here, and I really ran through the questions, and so that we get as many of them really answered here. So which apps can you recommend to support meditation or visualization exercises?
I do have 3 ways of dealing with that. So 2 good apps, Headspace and Calm for meditation. It's a good start. So they have like 5-10 minutes meditation with body scan. So Headspace and Calm are 2 of those. And what I also do, and is very helpful, it's Yoga Nidra. If you go on YouTube and you put any Yoga Nidra guided, it's a lying back, you would nap for 20 minutes or really go into a deep relaxation state, and can use that without an app. Just put some Yoga Nidra on YouTube.
I'd like to recommend the app Insight Timer. Unlike Calm and Headspace, it's free. You can donate and you can pay for a certain service level. And there are many, some very famous, very experienced meditation experts on there. And one in particular that I really recommend is a woman called Sharon Salzberg, who has the most down-to-earth voice in the universe. And you need to search a little bit, but her loving kindness meditation is extremely powerful. And loving kindness meditation is a particular type of meditation to cultivate compassion for yourself and compassion for others. And that is a direct, you'll feel your resilience building when you do that.
I actually love that one. I love that kind of meditation. It's really powerful. Yeah.
I love those resources. I don't know all of them. I know the ones Mihai mentioned, and I use them as well.
Yeah.
Another app that is free, and you don't even have to install it. It's already inside of us. Is just simple and raw. Sit down with yourself, close your eyes, listen to your inner voice. That one is
For free?
It's for free. Thank you. You don't even have to click anywhere. You don't need a screen. And it can be, you might be surprised about everything that your inner voice has to tell you.
Yeah, attending to our feelings can also be the toughest.
That's the best one, actually. After you do the guided ones, you go to Fabiola or you start directly right there.
Okay.
But even Headspace and Calm have the free versions also, so you don't have to pay upfront.
It's perfect. So it's really kind of how you can build your muscle, your resilience muscle training here. Okay, so there's the next one. How can you motivate? And that's interesting for project managers, right? How can you motivate your team and work colleagues to build resilience? Are there any practices you would suggest?
One exercise you can do, sorry, I jumped in. I saw your light flash, but I was already talking, Mihai, is talk about it and start your meetings in a different way by asking people, for example, what gives you energy? Or what's helping you the most right now to cope with the situation that we're in? So start doing it and model it yourself.
If I can build on that, so organize a managing stress and resilience workshop works, right? And then recommend them all these resources, maybe give them the video here, so help them see whatever tools they have at space. And then in the leadership arena, there's psychological safety. And I would say, just as a leader, go into that, read about psychological safety, and let them make mistakes and improve of them. Switch to more feed forward than feedback, and just hold them space to improve continuously and on whatever you're doing.
Yeah, and I just want to add one thing, which is empathy. I think it's so important that as a manager, you use empathy to the people that you work with, because ultimately we all want to feel heard. We all want to be in a space where we can open up, right? And we want to share. And that it's the basis, I think, to start that trust, that then you can also feel motivated after that.
Okay. I just read out, stress is all present, but how we deal with it is a choice. So state of mind is the best tool for coping. Is that a question even? Okay, no, that is not I don't have a lot of time between home office and childcare. But drawing, dancing are part of my small breaks. Wow, that's nice, huh? Drawing and dancing during breaks. Yeah.
I would say there is a question in Bogdan's, after Bogdan's affirmation. If you, for example, don't do yoga to cope with stress, but what would you do when you can do yoga? So I would say there are some cognitive things you can do on that. If you're more rational or more mental into that, you can always do reframing. So building on what you're saying there, you can always choose a frame on how to look at things, and there are tools onto that that you can use. Just mentally reframe whatever is happening.
Could you give an example, Mihai, just for me to also kind of, how would you, so you can't do yoga, so you go for mental reframing?
For example, you are in traffic.
Mm-hmm.
A guy with a car, that's happening to me, you know, multiple times, cut your lane and goes in front of you. And then that's a stimulus, you cannot control that. And you're thinking this is not normal. So then you have a story that you tell yourself. And then you have an emotion you can acknowledge. Labeling emotion, it's a technique that you can do there, you know, or discharge it. But label, yeah, I feel frustrated, I feel furious. It's already going down the emotion. And then you switch the story you are telling. You are telling yourself the story that this is not normal. And that guy might be some way. And then if you switch it like the books are saying, but you can apply that to any business case. And you're saying, what if he was going to his pregnant wife at the hospital? And you reframe to the situation, and within that context, you wouldn't get that mad. If you apply that to any business setting, you know, let's say a boss is yelling at you. If you acknowledge that there's fear behind, you know, fury, you can reframe and, you know, take advantage of the situation. I mean, or, you know, don't respond in a way that amygdala would. I mean, it's a whole theory there I won't enter, but that's a very short way to do it.
It's really also to assume good intentions.
Yeah.
To make the other one rather right than making them wrong.
Yeah. You can even refrain from time, you know. I mean, would this count a week from now, a month from now, a year from now? You know, and you can always use the time scale to reframe upon that. There are some, you know, context, time, and some other tools you can use, but that's cognitive tools that you can use for resilience.
And even in the coronavirus crisis and in the lockdown, you can simply ask yourself, where's the opportunity in this situation?
Yeah.
What am I gaining? More, the ability to spend more time with my family, more time to sleep.
Yeah.
It's again about where you focus your attention and how you make meaning of what you're experiencing.
And yoga is a lot about focusing your breath with your movement, right? And if you don't have the time for doing that, you can simply breathe and focus on your breath, and that already will calm you down.
Yeah. And Valentina is right now. I mean, breathing is a whole science of breathing. I mean, you can, if it's only abdominal breathing, deep abdominal breathing, it can really help you.
So would you have some, and that is the next question, some advices for meditation, visualization, and maybe also breathworks, breathing techniques? And I guess this is looking also into apps or some sources they could search for or they could find.
There's so much out there.
Yeah.
And I would just advise for you to explore and try. If you just go into, for example, just YouTube, you just can explore and just, I would not just suggest one thing or one type of breath work to everybody. It's just whatever works for you.
I feel a should coming on. I think when we start looking for more apps, there's a risk that we overwhelm ourselves even further. Yeah. And you haven't announced it, or maybe you did announce it, that Fabiola is going to do a breathing exercise at the end. So there is going to be a breathing exercise here. But the most important thing is that we've not named, but we've been talking around it, is that mindfulness is all about being in the present moment, and being conscious, and just consciously stop what you're doing and take a deep breath and give your belly permission to expand so that you know it's a deep abdominal breath.
Yep.
And do that 3 times. You will feel the difference. It's nature's tranquilizer. Sorry, anybody who works for Roche, but it's free and available at any time.
And so fantastic. We have this right here because, yeah, I mean, project managers, where's the action? What can we do more of, right? What can we do more of? It's never a question, who can we be? And yeah, it's a training of being, right?
Yeah.
And I said it was a fantastic link because here comes in the next one. No one mentions the faith to deal with resilience, like faith. If religious or spiritual, right? And I believe it's the most important thing, not only in the religious sense, but believe in something. So yeah, what is your take on that?
I'm actually amazed though from that question, right? My personal feeling on that is that we have, we are a creative and beautiful human being, and inside of us, right, we have all the resources for dealing with whatever is happening with us right now, right? So I think sometimes it's also the faith in believing and trusting ourselves that we can handle that we can be with that we can, allow everything that is happening to us just to be. And I don't know if you have a religion, you can believe in something else, but it's also about really connecting with that creativity inside of you and trusting yourself. So it's also the faith that you get, that trust within yourself. I don't know if that answered really the question, but this is how I would see that.
And yes, and totally, Valentina. And another, it's about expectations as well. Like, I don't know if right now is the moment to plan and to decide big things, etc., etc. So maybe it's about accepting one foot in front of the other. Mm-hmm. It's about what we deal with today and tomorrow. This is a situation that places in the present moment more than ever. Mm-hmm. And it's about accepting that maybe something we're not used to, and something we are forced to have practice on, and trust that. Let's trust into what we are doing today, what we are being with today and tomorrow, what we have available to us right here, right now.
I do agree with Matthias. I mean, believing in something, having faith is very helpful within resilience frame.
Mm. And I think that it's faith is connected to feeling part of something greater than yourself. And our minds are designed to create meaning. And faith gives meaning to some people's lives. But I think all of us, when we recognize our aliveness, when we bring ourselves into that connection with being living human beings and our connection to the earth, then we can let go of our egos and recognize that it's a gift that we are alive. and all of us are alive now. And sorry, I'm the philosopher here. And we are confronted very directly with our mortality and with our connectedness in this globalized world. And we can also reframe that and see the opportunity in here to do, for example, what we're doing tonight, which is reaching out to each other to support each other and give each other strength. And everybody, when we help others, then we strengthen all of us.
Mm-hmm. So, in respect of our time, there is, and I feel that was answered, it's around purpose, coming from purpose, knowing your purpose. Is there something to share around that?
It's similar to faith, I would say.
Yeah.
And it's, it is meaningful within a resilience framework. I mean, having a purpose, it is helpful. For example, my purpose in life is education. It took a while to decide upon that. I monetize on the corporate world and educating leaders, and I do donate and volunteer in the schools. So how schools are led and how to educate our children for the future. And it's always helpful to do that. So having a purpose, and actually I've come up to that purpose after some important events in my life, and it was a resilience path of transformation until getting to that purpose. So having one, it's helpful for sure.
And also realize maybe that most surely, whatever you're doing in your life right now, you are serving a purpose. If you're a parent, that's you're fulfilling a purpose right here, right there. An unconscious one. It's about making conscious the ones that you are already fulfilling, those purposes that you are already fulfilling.
And purpose is connected to your values, what gives your life meaning, and that goes back to also what gives you energy. And if we don't take time to think about that and connect with ourselves, to really look inside what's important to me, what gives meaning to my life, what drives me. We run the risk, if we don't do that, that we'll be determined by external expectations and drivers. So it all goes back to taking time to look within.
Okay, it's this now will be the final question before we move on. And any experience to share about Feng Shui? I don't know if the pronunciation is right, but Feng Shui to support improved resilience. Does anybody of you have?
I know about it. I don't use it. I know it's Chinese way of arranging and working with energies in the way that you're set up home, but maybe Fabiola, I've seen.
I was so happy you started talking, Mihai. I thought Mihai is going to take care of this one.
No.
Okay, we have a niche here. So Muriel, that might be something for you to focus on, and definitely it's a niche.
But if it's something that inspires you, please go ahead.
Fabiola, we do some breathing Feng Shui now.
I guess that Feng Shui as such is already a practice. A practice in building resilience, because there's so much consciousness already introduced.
Being that the last question, I don't want to leave this call without mentioning the following. It's important to me. I had a call with my sister last night, and she lives in another country, and she said, "This is great. What's happening? I have time for my kids. I'm with them." Now she's working from home as well, and she's just over the moon. And I asked her, "Why are you whispering?" And then it's not like, it's about respect for the others. There's so much pain and tragedy in the world right now. There's so much uncertainty and everything we have been talking about. That I just want to also highlight the fact that it's okay to feel pleasure even now. Yeah. It's okay to enjoy and do the simplest things, those simple things that you dreamt of doing your whole life, like learning how to play guitar, learning a language, gardening. It's okay. It's okay to do that. And it's okay to, there's a way we can hold both. We can hold everything that is happening and the people that are having a hard time, and hold, and please take those moments in which you can enjoy.
Which also links back to Valentina's, the gratefulness exercises,
yes,
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry that in respect of our time. Yes. And Fabiola, you will be the one now to introduce us to a breathing exercise. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. And before you do that, no, come on, let's go for it. Let's go for it.
Right. I want to ask real quick to the Ravi, is can people see themselves in the screen if they want to? Is that an option? I don't need to see them. I'm going to ask them to look at themselves in the screen, in the little squares. Is that possible?
No, it's not possible, Fabiola.
All right, good. No problem. So let's take a moment and make yourself as comfortable as possible. And I'll leave that to you if you'd like to close your eyes or not. We're here gathered, over 100 people, in this very unique time. So let's take a few moments to connect with your breath if you have not done it already. Find a rhythm to that, your own rhythm of your breath, of the inhalation and the exhalation. It's important to know that there's no way you can do this wrong. I ask you now to focus your attention in the sensations in your body. Even the tiniest one, the smallest one. Breathe into that noticing. Perhaps you feel nothing in your body. Be with that too. Perfectly okay. Observe your thoughts. See them as passing clouds. Just try not to engage, but allow them to come and go. Are there feelings or emotions arising? Just let them be. Let them be here and now. What is your response to what you're feeling? Observe that too. become aware of that as well. Know that whatever is here, whatever you're experiencing in this moment, no matter how challenging, awkward, simple, funny, even pleasurable, this has been wanting your attention. Breathe through this. When this call is finished, if you have the chance to stay with yourself another 5 to 10 minutes or longer, that's great. Otherwise, if you have to spring into action, tend to your children, another call, talk to your partner or somebody, there is a way to stay in connection with you and extend your attention to that other person, to that other activity. Take this connection that you have established here into whatever you're doing next. I'll leave you with this. I'll pass these over now to Julia.
Thank you so much, Fabiola. And I want to thank the four of you and the team who organized this. Beautiful, really, thank you so much. And just want to mention that Valentina, Kathy, Fabiola, and Mihai, yeah, they definitely also offer services. We didn't promote them any further here. We have the contact details, should have them with the Eventbrite invite. There will be a survey for you to give feedback on this event. And with the PDU claim, you also now find the information on the shared slide on the screen. So should you still have your eyes closed and enjoying your inner silence and whatever is there for you, please open them now to get the information from the screen. Here's how you claim your PDUs and the way to answer a short survey. If anyone from the organizers, also from the panelists, wants to share final words, please go ahead. I see that we still have 105 people in. So
yeah, I just hope that what my fellow panelists and I, everything that you also mentioned, all the participants, it's a bucket of things you can do and you can be as well. And if we have inspired you to practice new ones and reinforce the ones that are already working for you, we have done our job. I hope that you cultivate gentleness towards yourself, especially right now.
Anything else to share, to say? We are already over time. If there's nothing else to share,
I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful for your time. I know it's a big resource to give, especially with all this screen time that you have during these days. I know it's true for most of the people that are in front of the screens more than before. And I'm grateful for that. Thank you. So,
Yes, there is one comment from my side again. The last slide show a link for our survey. Unfortunately, someone stolen some of the bits. So the survey seems not to show up when you go to this link. But anyway, we ask you to fill the survey, because when you close the session, this survey will pop up. So thank you very much for your feedback. It can help us, it will help us to improve, and it will bring you more interesting events. Thank you for the evening. Thank you for the panelists. Many thank you, Julia, for your fantastic professional lead to this session.
And normally we would hand over chocolates and fine goodies for our panelists. Now you get a virtual hug.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you. It's calorie free. It's perfect. Fat free, calorie free. Great.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. This
Thank
was
you,
great.
everyone. Thanks for
Thank
joining.
you so much.
Bye-bye.
bye, bye, bye.
Yeah.